on this week's episode of the Crushing Debt Podcast, financial goals. So welcome back to this week's episode of the Crushing Debt Podcast. My name is Shawn Yesner, owner and founder of Yesner Law, and with me is your financial coach, George Corbello. How you doing, George?
Shawn, I have to say I am doing extremely well. It's cold in Florida, which is weird. You know, it's kind of hard to say it's cold in Florida when it's like 50.
I saw a meme online, and it said, is it going to be hot or cold today? And underneath it said, Florida, yes.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I think we had a low of like 40, 48 one morning, and then it jumped to like 80. It was so weird. It's like, okay, I guess, you know, Florida can be confusing at times.
When I woke up this morning, it was in the high 40s, and I think it's supposed to get into the mid 70s by the end of the day today.
Yeah, and as people around the country are like, oh, like really, it's that bad? Oh, you know, I get it. It's people are like 19 degrees,
wow.
At midday today.
Believe it or not, my head gets cold. My head, my ears, my nose all get cold.
I know that problem, unfortunately, but I hear you, brother.
So a few significant things that happen in December every year that we wanted to talk about. The first, obviously, is my birthday, which by the time this episode comes out, we're recording before my birthday, but by the time this episode comes out, my birthday will have already happened.
Centennial celebration, I know, right?
We're beyond centennial. Anything else significant happen in December?
I don't know.
My sister's birthday.
Well, there you go. I would hope she would. She's listening, so she, I would imagine that too.
Her birthday's at the end of the year.
Awesome.
Anything else?
Not for me. I don't got kids.
I know that goal setting is a big thing that happens.
That's what I was told. That apparently you're supposed to do a nice reflection of how you did with all your goals. Personally, I would imagine from a business standpoint, you want to take a look at them, and then of course, we either very happy or very sad.
Very sad.
And then we go, what do we need to do for next year? And then start the whole process all over again.
Yeah, There's one other thing that happens, I think, in December, and that's Christmas and Hanukkah.
Oh, those holidays.
We can't forget Christmas and Hanukkah. And, I looked it up the other day because this year, Christmas, the first night of Hanukkah is the night of December 25th.
Oh, that's cool.
So you all will celebrate Christmas on the 25th, and then that night is the first night of Hanukkah.
What are you talking about? We've been celebrating Christmas in September.
Isn't it the 12 nights or the 20 nights or I don't know how many.
Too many nights. It's very expensive.
So I actually looked up when do Christmas and Hanukkah start on the same day? And this was because the Jewish calendar and the Gregorian calendar are different. So that's why Hanukkah bounces around.
Right.
And I found this on the internet. According to available information, Hanukkah and Christmas have fallen on the same day in the following years: 1910, 1921, 1959, 2005.
Wow.
And then this year, 2024. I don't remember it happening in 2005. I think I also saw something that in 2016, Hanukkah fell on December 24, Christmas Eve.
Okay.
That'll happen again in 2027.
Okay.
But the first night of Hanukkah won't coincide with Christmas Day again until 2035.
Nice.
So a little bit of
tease there.
A little bit of history, a little bit of trivia.
I like it.
Have you bought your stocking stuffers yet?
Yes, I have kids, and my wife is celebrates the 12 days and all that stuff. So yes, I think I did okay. My wife should be happy. I think maybe, and the kids, everything's expensive. So yeah, they're.
So at the risk of giving away any presents,
right?
Did you get any Magic Mind as a stocking stuffer?
My friend, I got the whole box, and we put it into the. I don't think my wife will appreciate it, but she'll appreciate the way she feels after she takes the Magic Mind. That's for sure.
Exactly. We do want to thank Magic Mind. If you are looking for stocking stuffers, there is still time. You can go on to magicmind.com, put in our code, which is CD20, or for Crushing Debt 20, so CD20. That'll get you 20% off your order of Magic Mind. You can use them as great ideas for little stocking stuffers. Those little bottles are helping me get through December. I so want to just take my foot off the gas and kind of coast for December, but I can't.
No.
And so those little bottles, I've gotten my emails now are back under control after the craziness that was November and Thanksgiving. My emails are back under control. My workflow is back under control. And thank you to Magic Mind. That's been a big part of me focusing.
Yeah, I think for me, it's the energy. There is a lot on the list to do at the end of the year. So I think having that boost, again, you can use coffee. People use different things. I like the more natural. I like the shot because it doesn't feel like I have to. I'm not a big coffee drinker at all. So, for me, having that shot and still getting the nice, really energy boost and the focus. For me, there's so much to do. The focus is really what helps.
I do both. I do a cup of coffee and then the Magic Mind after that, because they don't interact or interfere with each other. For me, they don't interact or interfere with each other. So that coffee kind of gets me going in the morning, but then the Magic Mind keeps me going all day long. So thank you, Magic Mind. They are a sponsor of the show. But if you go to CD20, magicmind.com/CD20, you get 20% off your first order. So thank you for that. And I mentioned the other thing that happens in December is we take a look at how did we do for the previous year. Did we hit the goals that we wanted to accomplish? And then what do we want to do in 2025? And I know that I do it both from a business perspective and a personal perspective.
Yeah.
So, but I'm gonna kind of put you on the spot.
Ooh.
What were some of your 2024 financial goals, and did you hit them?
Well, I got to say, so from a personal standpoint, the biggest thing, and it's funny how it's already been a year, but the house, having the money for the down payment, doing what we need to do to get into the home here in Florida was a big, big thing for us. That was a huge accomplishment for us. So that was an early, forget it, like, what did I do last week? And it's like, no, here's something I did, 11 months ago. So very happy, very proud of our family being able to do that. Financial goals is still taking on, we got new debt, right, which is the mortgage. But, what I've been doing with the mortgage, it has been paying a little bit more, that a little bit more towards the principal. So starting small. I've been putting like $100 extra towards the principal. Doesn't sound like a lot, but it's knocked out, I think, almost 2 years off of the, off the overall. So instead of a 30-year, it's now 28.
Right.
Now 27 because, we're a year in. So for me, those are huge accomplishments from a goal standpoint. The other thing too, we were able to save for trips for the kids. We had a big theater audition thing in Oklahoma. All that was paid with cash, which you think like, oh, can we do that? But there was a lot of planning, a lot of overtime for that type of trip. So very happy about that. We were able to do our trip to Dominican Republic. That was also cash. So again, very nice, trying to do a little bit more, even though you think like everything's got to be credit card, everything's got to be debt. And we just trying to do things a little differently from that standpoint. So very proud, very happy about that from a personal standpoint. That for us, very happy. And again, college, getting through year 2.5. So yeah, almost 3 years of doing college as well. So that's a little bit more tough because you have to, monthly payments and, doing those kind of things itself. But yeah, I think that's another big accomplishment we've had.
Yeah, that's a lot of the same kind of things for me as I look at my year in review. I was able to pay off a lot of debt this year.
Mm-hmm.
So we had to buy a new air conditioning unit a few years ago. I got that paid off. One of the things that Melanie really wanted before she passed was a new dining room table.
Yeah.
The dining room table that we had up until a year ago was my old dining room table from being a senior in college.
Sheesh.
It had a leaf in it, but I think even with the leaf, it only sat 4 comfortably.
Right.
Now we've got a bigger dining room table that'll fit like, I think 8 around it with maybe even 10 with both leaves in it.
Right.
I was able to pay that off. I think the next big purchase, maybe this is a goal for 2025, but I think the next big purchase, we need a new couch. So the couch that we use to watch TV on, one of the recliners is broken. You recline and it just goes all the way back. It doesn't resist you at all. Plus, it's, we bought it when we moved into that house, which was 13, 14 years ago. And so it's had 13, 14 years of kids and spilled drinks and spit up and
that's all from Shawn
and just for me, not the boys. So that might be a goal for next year. I did refinance the house. I didn't refinance the house. I refinanced my home equity line of credit on the house, and I was able to get a bigger home equity line of credit. So I'm slowly paying that down. I didn't add to it. I was just able to get a bigger line of credit, and now I'm paying down, what was the line of credit, so that, in an emergency, I've got some money tied to the house if I have access to it. I also pay more on my mortgage like you do.
Yeah.
I haven't calculated how many years I have left, but I know, gosh, I've been in that house now for 14 years.
Wow.
So I've got, 16 years left, and I've probably knocked anywhere from 2 to 4 years off of that. So I've got that.
That's almost there too. That's good.
Yeah. We were able to, I was able to pay off one of my credit cards, get that back down to zero, the one that I put all my points on. I then charged my son's bar mitzvah on that. It took me 2 months to pay that off, but I've kept that card at zero since I've paid it off. And now now that we're getting into December, I'm using the points to buy all the kids presents. I'm looking at what trips we want to take next year, and I've got all those points saved up. So those are some of the big highlights that I can think of from 2024 personally.
That sounds pretty impressive. I mean, think about using your tools, right, to your advantage. Because it's easy to just say no new debt, can't use the credit card, all evil. But what you've been doing is really, the control over those tools. You're like, okay, we're going to use the money. It's paid off, and we're going to pay it off again. What can we do to make sure that those debts itself are taken care of as quickly as possible? So I think that says a big difference on like how you've been budgeting and how you manage your money on a monthly basis. But yeah, congrats. So many things. And again, we probably can think of a lot of other things. I'm thinking like, okay, wait a second. Yeah, we were able to do some debt too. We were able to manage certain things. And just really, with a new house, I feel like there's an expense every quarter. So.
Yeah, with a house, you heard me. I just got off the phone a few months ago. We had before any of these hurricanes, unrelated to these hurricanes. Our hockey team is the Tampa Bay Lightning because we are the lightning capital of the world. One of my palm trees got hit by lightning, and now for anyone that's seen me on video, for anyone that's seen me in pictures, my palm tree looks like my head. It's got some palm fronds on the side that are kind of falling off, but the top is totally bald. Oh. So I need to get somebody out to the house to take a look at the palm tree. If it's dead, it needs to come down.
Right.
Lord knows what that's going to cost me.
Yes.
I still have a section of fence that keeps falling down from one of the storms. I need to get that fixed. I don't know what that's going to cost me.
Same here.
I did get the palm trees treated. That was a decent little expense. So there's always, I had to get my sprinkler system repaired. There's always those kinds of expenses.
Yeah. I mean, for us, I think we are already planning from a house that we want a new like a lanai. The one thing we do love sitting outside, but man, those no-see-ums are annoying. So we're like, okay, let's see if we can get at least some. Again, lanai is no guarantee, but at least it does have some.
Is it screened in?
No, that will be the lanai. That's what we want to put is this, so it can be screened in. So that's what we're working. That's a big thing for the house. Maintenance for the house. I didn't realize I went through my 1 year kind of walkthrough, the warranty walkthrough and stuff, and they're like, hey, air conditioner, hey, garage door, hey, washer dryer and vents and this. I'm like, okay, well, I guess those are 2025 things. It's to stay on top of, because I think that you get this false sense of like home. And if you don't do anything to it, it's things need to be, cared for. And even the home itself, if you want it to last, years and years itself, you have to be on top of those kind of things. It's like your car.
Yeah.
If you don't give it an oil change, it's, you're kind of running on time there.
Yeah. And it's little things like light bulbs and air filters, air conditioner filters.
Big time.
And I just, one of the expenses you reminded me of, I had to replace the garage door motor.
Yeah.
I had to basically replace everything but the door. This past
cheaper.
year. Although it was really cool. They gave me an app. It ties to my phone.
Nice.
So I can use my phone to open and close my garage door. So that one, that was kind of cool. That was
moving up in the world.
Yeah.
I like that. So
one of the things I was able to do personally, although this kind of overlaps because I own the business, but one of the things I was able to do personally, which helped me with a lot of this stuff, the law firm gave me a raise this year.
Ooh. Man,
So-
your boss is terrible.
I
man.
love my boss. My boss is fantastic. He's kind of an idiot, but he's fantastic. So, but
Well,
that
congrats,
is,
man.
one of the things I realized going into 2024 was that the law firm is not paying me a salary. That if I had to replace myself, if I had to get an attorney to come in to replace me, to do all the things that I do, I could not get an attorney to come into the law firm and take the salary that I pay myself.
Yeah, no way.
So one of the things that I've wanted to do last year, and I didn't quite get there, but I made progress, was give myself a wage consistent with what
You would pay someone else.
what I
coming
would
in.
pay someone else.
Absolutely.
Now, again, the law firm is able to support me and the family, so I'm not necessarily hurting for money, but what I don't get in wages, I have to make up with profit distribution.
Right.
I want more of that to be wages, and then even keep the profit distribution where it is. So I was able to give myself a raise, so that was a good business goal that I hit, and again, personally for me. And so again, I'm not quite there yet, so I'll continue to work on that into 2025.
Well, one last thing we always think about, it's make more money or budget better. And so is there any skill sets or anything that you want to learn personally for yourself going into the new year?
It's interesting. So, I'm a reader, and I've even done previous podcast episodes about the different books that I had read. At the end of the year, I would do a wrap up and, hey, here's all the books. And one year I ended up reading, it ended up being, I want to say 53 or 54 books.
Impressive.
Because I got almost to the end of the year and I thought I was at 50. And I was like, cool, I'll stop at 50. And then I learned that I had miscounted and I was at 51. And I'm like, well, I got to read one more. And that way I'll average one a week.
Sure.
But then I miscounted again and it was actually like 53 or 54. This year I've only, quote, only read, I'm on my 7th book.
Oh, that's a big difference.
Yeah. And it kind of makes me feel like I've underachieved in my self-education.
Sure.
So I'm going to kind of get back on that train and read more books. And part of it, I mean, anybody that's listened to the show for any length of time.
It's been an interesting year for you.
Yeah.
So I think you get one pass. That's it.
There you go. One pass.
One pass.
So my goal is to finish the book that I'm on before the end of the year and then pick it up January 1 and I'll really, again, carve out time for myself to read. But some of the stuff I'm going to read, I think I'm going to look at, and I was looking at this when I was planning for 2025. I do want to read more books on finance and budgeting and that kind of stuff because it's what I do and what we talk about.
Absolutely.
I want to read more books about building my team because I do want to grow the law firm.
Nice.
I want to read more books on creating systems within the business because we have, with the new employees that we've brought on board, I have been able to document some of the systems, but I want to do better at that. I may want to go back and reread. It may be time to get back into the funnel building and try to create more passive streams to the law firm. And I've had these ideas kicking around in the back of my head. The debt-free book is part of a sales funnel.
Yeah.
I wanted to do a small claims court sales funnel.
Yes.
So I may bring some of those things back into the fold, which means rereading some of those books on funnel building and sales and that kind of stuff. So those are the kind of books that I'm thinking. Books on sales in general.
Yeah, I think how to talk to people.
How to talk to people.
Certain how certain phrases are good and bad. But I mean, I imagine there's a lot of that too. So I think we have to remember it's not just we feel like their goals are associated like the money or how we're doing things with family or I want that. But it's like what are we doing to get better ourselves as part of that personal and business.
Well, and personally, one of my goals personally that I put on the calendar this year was to get more healthy. I'll get off some of the, stop the diabetes pills, stop the blood pressure pills, and just get more healthy. And even if I don't stop the pills, but I get more healthy, I'll still consider that a win. But,
I agree.
But the goal that I wrote down was to stop the blood pressure and diabetes pills by the end of the year.
So good goal to have. Then the question is going to be, what do we need to do? Because it's easy to say, like, okay, I want to get off of it. Cruel. What does that mean then? Like, what new habits are you looking to instill?
Well, so ever since my wife got sick, or maybe once she got to the point where she got really bad in terms of needing me in the house more often,
Sure.
I stopped running.
Okay.
So I may want to try to get back into running. At this point, it's just finding the time to do it. But at least to go running more, get back into running, possibly join a gym. I've been doing a good job of bringing my lunch, which has decreased my food budget.
The spending, right.
The spending on food and lunches and whatnot, but maybe even increasing more fruit and vegetable intake.
That's good.
Possibly looking at, I don't know, whatever, multivitamins or whatever to supplement. But I think for me, it's probably just the tweak of go running more, get some more exercise.
I agree.
And increase vegetable intake. It's just that those two tweaks probably will get me most of the way to where I want to be.
Well, I say the one thing that I can recommend, right? Because right away running already gives me heartburn. So I would say okay, but I would say to you like find, and again, the hard thing is finding time, right? You're saying so 15 minutes a day, just do a walk.
Yeah.
Get yourself outside where you can kind of just walk around the neighborhood. If there's a path or something like that, get a mile in, and then you get in a mile and a half, and you get up to 20 minutes. Find the time, if it's during the morning time before the boys go or at the end of the day, but find the time that we can find time.
Yeah, we can
15
always
minutes,
find.
You can find the time itself. Don't jump right into gym, because that for me is another thing that gives me heartburn. It's like, oh yeah, the gym, that'll motivate me, and yet I feel like we have the membership, and then it sits there for months.
So Yesner Law sponsors every year what's called the Great West Chase. So I live in an area of Tampa called West Chase, and so it's the Great West Chase. It's always on Halloween. It's a 10K, 5K, 1 miler for the little kids. Yesner Law has sponsored it every year for the last, 5, 6, 7 years.
Nice.
And I've always run the 5K. This year, my goal was to run it faster than 45 minutes.
That's cool.
Which is like a 12 to 13 minute pace, 14 minute pace, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
I was able to run it in 42.
Okay.
So, which is,
'Cause you're not too out of shape then.
not
so
my
that's good.
fastest ever time. Not, probably not a time that I would hit if I were running regularly.
Of course.
But not a bad time. So,
No, that's good.
So yeah. So what about some business goals?
All right, so this year for me, again, I'm still small coaching business that I work through, right, and helping people, get out of finances. But for me, revenue, for me, the numbers wise, I always look at the numbers, right? So revenue's up, I think like 25% for me. Obviously, from a profit standpoint, that means those numbers are up. So for me, the number of clients that I've helped this year is up as well. So that's been very good for me. And I look at not just like the people that I'm helping, the number of people I'm helping at the same time, but like who are waiting to be, to kind of work into the program. So very happy about those kind of numbers. And really just for me, the biggest thing that I've seen is the numbers in their goals that they've accomplished, right? We've got clients who've saved up to $10,000 for their emergency fund, right? We've gotten out of debt. I have clients total this year that have gotten out of debt, and it totals around $160,000 in total debt, which is pretty impressive.
That is.
So it's possible to be able to do that. I've had clients who started their small business. I've had clients who are ready to take their business to the next level. So it's not just the numbers, right? Yeah, it's like, I had a good year overall, but my clients are having good years as well. And they all start in the same boat, right? They're like more month in the money than money in the month. They have that phrase, burned in. So, but it's really nice to see those individuals really meet their goals as part of, the business that I'm working in.
Yeah. For me, it's all about the mindset.
Yep.
For me in business. And one of the things that I've always struggled with, if you look at the history of the law firm, so 2024 revenue was up from 2023, so that's good. But it was only up, I'm projecting it to be up only about like 10 grand. So in my mind, that's almost flat given the numbers the law firm.
Right.
So good that it's up. My net revenue is actually down, but that's because I brought on more employees.
Right.
So that's eaten into the net revenue. So, but some of the new employees are now starting to produce. So that's good.
That's very good.
But one of the things that I've kind of struggled with, but at the same time I'm going to use to my advantage, for whatever reason, when you look at the history of the law firm always does worse or flat in even numbered years. And
Okay.
always does much, much better in odd numbered years.
Okay.
And so on the one hand, I'm like, I want to break out of that mindset because I don't want to have to care whether we're going into an odd or an even numbered year.
Right.
At the same time, we're about to go into an odd numbered year.
So you're thinking like, yeah,
So I want to take advantage of
it's
that.
going to be, you might as well. Your mindset is there already.
If
where
the
it's like,
mindset's
it's-
there already, but then how do I break that so that this time next year I'm not like,
Oh, no, it's gonna be a
2026
flat.
is coming.
Gotcha.
So how do I on
Do you
the
know
one
why
hand,
though? Can I just, is there data that's kind of reflecting on why that would be the case?
I have no idea why. I mean, I was trying to think about it. You know, my son was born in 2011, so good things tend to happen in the odd
years.
numbered years.
Okay.
I was born in 1972, so that's good for an even numbered year. You know, I honestly cannot explain why the odd years versus the even years. You know, I have no explanation for it.
Okay.
Just a trend that I've noticed when I look at the law firm's revenue year over year. I have no idea.
Well, we're going to keep an eye on it then.
We'll
to see.
figure it out.
We got to figure out. So
We'll
we'll see
take it-
what are you doing well next year at an odd year that's going to be that we can carry over. Is it the networking? Is it the like what are you doing differently? So we're going to have to look into that.
Well, and so here's one of my goals for last year was to get my revenue to a certain dollar amount per client.
Sure.
And I exceeded that.
Nice.
So an average client was worth more than what I wanted the goal to be. But that number has regressed this year.
Okay.
So I want to get that number back up to what it was last year or more than what it was last year in terms of what an average client is worth to the law firm. But that's one of my goals. Another one of my goals is I have goals for what I want the employees to produce, you know, whether it's somebody who's generating clients or whether it's somebody who's producing, you know, work product. I have goals around there. I have goals for the systems that I want to create for the law firm. What kind of systems have we created? Do we need to still create?
Yeah.
Those are some of the goals that I have for the law firm going into next year.
Very nice.
So
I like it. For me, the goals wise, I'm going to keep it simple, right? I need to do more networking. Obviously, for me, getting out there and meeting different individuals from a business standpoint, obviously for referrals and that kind of pipeline is helpful. That one I took a step back this year, so I want to get back into that. The other thing too, obviously, is really, you know, where do I find people? It's easy to say everybody's got money problems. Like everybody, I just go to the grocery store. But like I like helping people, you know, your couples, your young couples who are looking to get more control with their money. That's what I'm looking for.
And I have this conversation with people in my networking groups all the time. It's really hard. It's hard for me to tell somebody to train somebody to go out and say, find me somebody that's having trouble paying their debt.
Yeah.
That's really hard. One of the things I've done is that's part of the reasoning for this podcast is you can have people listen to this show to get some financial tips,
Yep.
whether they're in Florida, outside of Florida. For the ones in Florida, that could be a pipeline for new clients. That's in part what it's intended to be, although I don't mind giving away the information for free if it helps people.
Absolutely.
But the other thing is what other professions, one of the things that really struck a chord in me in terms of learning how to network, what other professions see my clients before I see them?
Correct.
And then you network with those people. So instead of you trying to teach somebody how to find you somebody that is struggling with their budget, have somebody find you, I don't know, financial advisor, a CPA, a bankruptcy attorney, you know, this or that. So people come to their CPA and they say, I'm having trouble balancing my books. And the CPA can say, meet with my friend George.
Gotcha. Yep.
That always kind of, because it's hard for me to teach my
it's
partners.
always, like if you're leading with like everybody's stealing, like, oh, you know, someone who's struggling with money. It's like we're all
struggling with money from time to time.
Exactly. But it's really, you know, what's that niche? What is it that these individuals need to see. Because the other thing too, it's hard to talk about money. Everybody doesn't like. I'm not gonna be like, hey, by the way, I'm getting bankrupt. I'm getting ready for bankruptcy. Let's go get some drinks. It's a hard conversation. So really, it's how do you listen? How do you train someone to listen for like the key terms?
Well,
that
what
says,
you do,
you know what, like, have a conversation.
What I do is I tell people to run up their credit cards in December, buying presents for everybody, buying me birthday presents. Run up your cards in December, and then let's talk in January about a bankruptcy. It's very simple.
Yeah.
I am obviously kidding.
One way to do it.
I'm obviously kidding.
But yeah.
Although seriously, yeah.
But if you do know them.
But if you do. So that's...
No, so from a business standpoint, yeah, so I think, obviously some of the things for me, networking, the skill sets, right, you're right, better teaching folks that, how do you find my ideal person to help from that standpoint. So those are things I'm definitely going to be focusing on. Obviously the numbers, revenue and profits and all the kind of things like you. Of course, I want to help more people. I want to help more small businesses. So got to figure those kind of things out for 2025. And then I got to figure out, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to do this? Like, am I doing BNI again? Am I doing networking? Like, how are we going to handle these kind of things?
I got a chapter for you with 120 people in it.
Oh my goodness.
123 people in my BNI chapter.
Lots of folks.
Oh, it's a lot of fun.
God bless you, bro.
So here's something interesting. I'm going to put you on the spot again.
Yes.
What goals do you want for the show?
Ooh, all right. So what I would like us to be professional. That'd be really, really, guys. I'm kidding. What I want to see, I love interviews. Get us obviously interviews where people are still talking about their finances, bankruptcies, insurance, health coaches, just anything that's going to really impact people. I'd love to, our interviews are always fun. Yeah. And always informative. For us, would love to continue to find ways to grow our audience. Like, again, how do we share and like and subscribe?
I was thinking I would love to get more audience interaction.
I love that too.
So could we have enough questions from audience members that we could put a show together on some regular basis? Or could we do either meet and greets or seminars or something in different areas throughout Tampa Bay?
I like the idea.
And have listeners come and meet us. Maybe even one idea that I had years and years ago was I would schedule something and say to the listeners, hey, on such and such date, I'm going to be at Starbucks or whatever it is, and bring my mobile recording equipment and just record an episode at this event, talking to listeners. Could we do something like that? I don't know. That might be a little aggressive for 2025, but I would love to get more audience participation in the show.
I would say start with like, what kind of questions do you have? Are there scenarios that you'd like us to discuss through that? If we can have people on the show, like interview and just be like either their former clients in regards to their experience, because obviously it's very powerful to see and hear what people go through as part of their experience as well. Right. And then, of course, questions and answers, Q&As are always fun. Yeah. Because you can because everybody has a scenario that think it's, this is unique to me. And it's like, well, no, it's not. Not really. Probably not. But let's talk it through. So, yeah, I would love to see a lot of those kind of interactions as well.
Cool. Yeah. So, why don't we start with, if you're listening to the show, what are some things that you accomplished this past year, regardless of when you're listening to the show? Maybe you're listening to the show sometime mid-2025 because you're binging it or whatever. What are some things you've accomplished in the last year financially that you're proud of? Or what questions do you have? Email us. Let us know. We can read them on air. We can answer them. If you want to remain anonymous, let us know you want to remain anonymous. I don't mind doing that. And then any ideas you have for the show, let us know. If there's a particular type of speaker that you're interested in. I've gotten a lot of requests to interview financial advisors. Will email me and say, can we be on the show? And I've been resisting a lot of them recently because I tend to see that our financial advisor shows are some of our lowest listened to shows.
Okay.
And I think the reason that is, I don't know, maybe you all
Somebody
listening can tell
us.
me.
Yeah.
I think the reason that is because all the financial advisors are like, invest and we'll get you all this money and
Right.
retirement, blah, blah, blah. And I think most people that are listening to the show are like, yeah, but I need to get out of debt now.
Right.
I don't want to worry about building my nest egg for 10 years from now, 20 years from now,
Right.
30 years
They're
from
not
now.
worried about 10 years from now. They're worried about 10 minutes.
10 minutes from now is what I'm. Yeah, that's what I tend to think. But
Yeah.
if you guys want to hear from more financial advisors, let me know. They reach out to me all the time. I can get more of them on the show. So anyway, I think that'll do it for this
I
week.
think we did pretty well.
Yeah.
Not bad, buddy. We hit some goals.
Yeah, a lot of
Today.
good things in 2024. A lot of good things to come in 2025.
Absolutely.
My 2024 hopefully will be better. Or I'm sorry, my 2025 hopefully will be better
It
than
will
my
be.
2024. But yeah, I think that's about it. I do want to say again, thank you to Magic Mind. You can get your bottle or your order, 15 bottle,
Subscription
30
or
bottle,
mm-hmm.
subscription model, whatever. You can get your order magicmind.com/CD20. That's how you do that. I also want to mention our Patreon page, patreon.com/crushingdebt. If you do want to support us directly in terms of monetary revenue, you can go support us at patreon.com. All of that money goes back into the show regardless of what we say.
Right.
We also want to mention our friend, our longtime sponsor, Sam Cohen with Attorneys First Insurance. If you are an attorney or title company, if you know an attorney or title company that needs malpractice coverage, you can contact Sam at attorneysfirst.com. Other than that, we got one more show left
One
in
more
2024,
before the year's done.
and then we are on to 2025.
And
So
we get to do it all over again.
we get to do it all over again.
I love it.
So we do thank you for listening. We do hope that you've accomplished your financial goals in 2024. If there's something we can do to help you for 2025, let us know. In the meantime, we hope you have more money at the end of the month rather than month at the end of the money, and we'll talk to you in next week's episode.